feel something. Don't know what it is that makes me feel this way, but I think about you every single day. Maybe it's the way she moves, or maybe it's that long dark brown hair. Ooh, aha, yeah. Ooh, aha, yeah. Ooh, aha, yeah. Ooh. When you walk on by, my eyes are from the sky, 'cause I couldn't stop thinking about you last night. Everyone was dancing to the Smiths. But you were moving your feet, you were shaking your hips. Maybe it's the way she moves, or maybe it's that long dark brown hair. Ooh, aha, yeah. Ooh, aha, yeah. Ooh, aha, yeah. Ooh. Walked up to you with my wolf pack. You gave me a number, but you never came back. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Woohoo. Aha, yeah. Woohoo. Aha, yeah. Woohoo. Aha, yeah. Woohoo. I don't care, 'cause I still remember your long dark brown hair. Woohoo. Aha, yeah. Woohoo. Aha, yeah. Woohoo. Aha, yeah. Woohoo. Aha, yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 31, the big draft breakdown. As you'll notice, it looks a bit lonely on the screen. It looks like it's just me and the producer. Someone's unbeaten streak has finally gone. As Kyle Shanahan said, we couldn't tell you who'd be here on the Monday. Well, he said Sunday, but we said Monday, because they may be dead. Fortunately, Matt Davenport isn't dead, but for unknown reasons and undisclosed reasons, which he will be fined for, he's not managed to make today's pod. But we do have some superb additions that have been here during all the draft breakdown recently. So without further ado, Jamie,
Let's
guys.
bring them in. So here we go.
And this is where Jamie starts messing around with the screens, trying to get everyone on. So, yeah, thanks for joining us again, chaps. Obviously, part of the team now. As you know, well, I'd like to think everyone was well aware, it was the off-season Super Bowl this weekend just gone. We got to enjoy little hours sleep for lots of entertainment. And yeah, we're just going to go through the first round today more than anything. We've got our three panel experts, as we like to call them. We normally have four, but Mart has unfortunately, it must be a Raiders thing today for some reason.
I think this is going to be the
maybe
best
not happy with the
episode
draft. But yeah, Mart's also busy. But yeah, I think we'll just jump straight into it with the biggest surprise of the draft whole. Jags #1 pick. Can't believe it. But yeah, probably the worst kept secret for a while, wasn't it?
What else is there to say about it that hasn't already been said, other than I think Jordan had an interesting fact?
Oh yeah, just I was saying earlier, I was quite surprised actually that Trevor Lawrence is the first Clemson player to go in the top 3 in a draft, which I heard on, I think it was on draft night or something, it just popped up and I was quite shocked. So I think, like John mentioned, Deshaun Watson slipped out, and I can't think of many that were close off my head. Obviously there'll be a few, but
probably haven't been that many because they weren't a big program till probably like 5-6 years ago. Maybe if Mayock had been GM of the Raiders for a decade, they might have sneaked one into the top 5 at some point.
Where was Cleve Ferrell from? Was he Clemson?
think that's why
he was 4, wasn't he?
Because he went forward, didn't he? Which is one of the. I don't remember researching a ton of people in the draft that year, and I think my reaction at the time was, "Who the hell is that?"
But yeah, I suppose the big thing is how do we all think Trev's going to do? Big Trev.
I don't know how he'll do, but I'm super excited. I don't think I've been this excited for a long time to see a quarterback in going into NFL season. I actually, if the Seahawks aren't playing at the same time on that first Sunday, I'll be tuning to Trevor Lawrence's first game. I'm looking forward to it. I think everything excites me about him. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I think between him and Urban Meyer coming to coach him as well, I think it is the team to watch this year, isn't it? It's the one that everyone's like, this will be an interesting team, no matter whether you support them or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions to be answered, I think. Urban Meyer obviously not coached in the pros before, so that'll be interesting. I want to see what he brings to the NFL. He's always been an innovative coach in college. It'll be interesting to see what he does. My main worry at the Jags is the general manager, Trent Baalke. He likes drafting people with dodgy knees. I haven't got the call yet, but I am waiting. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what happens there. I think Lawrence is going to be good regardless, but how good the Jags are going to be, I think that's one to watch.
I know we spoke about this is only going to be the first round, and I know we're going to break down sort of each team or each division, but how do we feel Jags did in regards to giving him what he needs to be successful?
Well, they got him his best mate from college. I mean,
yeah, which I think is a bit of a slap in the face to James Robinson, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was
surprised with that pick, but with the picks later on that they got, it kind of put the ease on it as a bit. I suppose giving him a mate to pass to, someone he's used to, sure is going to benefit him. They've already got some good wide receiver weapons there. They've added Marvin Jones. Like obviously Bones will know about him. I don't think he's that bad of a player. Still, he's getting on a bit, but he'll still give you something.
I reckon he will. He played well for us last year. Like you say, he's towards the end of his career now, but with the end of your career and like slowing down a bit comes all the knowledge as well, doesn't it? You know the game better. You might have slowed down a bit, but yeah. But I mean, I heard someone say that ETN is basically Alvin Kamara. So
yeah, I've heard that comparison.
Well, Meyer has actually said he wants to give him a Percy Harvin type role.
I've literally just read that.
Yeah, he's got a lot out of players like that. So I thought it was an interesting pick at the time, but with a bit of hindsight, it looks like there's some good weapons there. There's a nice mix of like veteran quality, but also like rookies that will have a natural chemistry with him. So I think there's some really good moves being made there.
They were saying, obviously, like you say, that was the first time a Clemson was in the top 3, but number 1. They were saying that's the first time a same team duo has been drafted together in the first round as well. So you've obviously got your QB and your running back, which I suppose that helps them out, doesn't it? They'll be able to settle a bit easier out together.
It felt like there were quite a few like reunions this draft, as it were. Like it felt very reunion heavy.
Yeah, but you got Hurts and Devonta Smith. Didn't realise they played together.
Yeah, you got Hurts and Smith. You've got Burrow and Chase. You've got Lawrence and ETN. Like, I think there was other ones as well, but I'm sure someone will be able to tell me at some point.
Yeah. So I suppose we'll just go by pick. It makes sense, doesn't it? I suppose some will be quick, some will be a bit more detailed. The second one was not much of a surprise either, was it? It was Zach Wilson. I think that's been pretty much banked in since Trev was banked into the Jags. But yeah, I suppose we'll jump to there. They got They got, was it Vera Tucker as well? They traded up, didn't they? Get him some protection. So I think the Jets had a fantastic draft.
There you go. Waddle and 2 is the one I missed.
Yeah,
the chat has come to save me. Thank you, chat.
Yeah. So what's thoughts on Jets?
It was
on Wilson's good.
It was the consensus pick, wasn't it? I think out of the quarterbacks that have been taken, and of course there is a bit of bias creeping in, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I think of the QBs taken at the top of the draft, Wilson is the most boomer bust guy. Like, he seems to have risen up boards really quickly because of his. Let's face it, he throws like Mahomes. Teams are looking for that, and he's gone up the board as a result. And it's the Jets. They'll find a way to screw it up.
I heard an interesting comparison for Wilson because he's not quite as long as Mahomes. They've Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, there's similarities there, I would say. I would agree with that. Maybe he'll turn the Jets around the same way that the Browns are kind of arguably now one of the better teams in the league, which sounds weird to say, but
I mean, he's definitely got the potential upside to do it. It's just if he meets the potential upside, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it, like Bowen said, and they've helped him out big time. Got trading up for Vera Tucker with Becton on that side as well to protect him, That protective blind side is that they've picked up Elijah Moore as well, and they've got what's his name, Denzel Mims from last year who could come on again. So they've got some. They've helped him out big time. So it's like Bowen said, he's got potential. It doesn't always work out that way, does it, going forward? But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I know they're a rival, the New York Rivals, but we hardly ever fucking play them once every 4 years. I really look forward to seeing how they do. I think they drafted really well, so it's definitely a team that I'll be looking out for. I suppose the first of any of our teams, the big trade up, the smoke screens that were going everywhere, left, right, and centre, and finally the dust settled and Trey Lance was picked for the 49ers. So have you managed to get a refund for that bleach, JP? Or
well, it's. I think everybody could hear me exhale when that pick was made. It's strange, actually, because a week before the draft, I did say I think it will be Lance. I think I might have even said it on here. And joining the dots now, it looks a lot more obvious than it did a week ago. His ability to run play action and the fact he's been under centre at North Dakota State, those are big things for Shanahan, I think. I think probably more than people think, and he's got the athletic ability as well. Really happy with the pick. There's obviously a question over his experience and how soon it will be for him before he's in the lineup. But you can't argue with taking somebody with that ability at the top of the draft, can you? Really?
No, not at all. I'm excited. I think the fact I'm excited because of how much Mart has talked about him. It just makes me want to see what he's like. Because I know he was Mart's lover boy. He was his dream. It was if he could put any Raiders draft in, it would be for him, wouldn't it? So I'm excited, and the fact that you've paid what was it essentially 3 first, it works out something like that.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? It's a big price, but at the end of the day, if you're going to land premium players at the top of the draft, you're going to have to pay a premium. We weren't quite bad enough to get up there, on merit. So I guess
I like what you've done. I think it's right. I think we've all said that you're we said historically in the past couple of years you've been a quarterback away from a Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
I think it was the right thing to do. Moved up, they've probably got the better player. I suppose the comparison will be what does he do versus Fields? What does he do versus Mac Jones? Do we see either of those going to be a starter though? I don't, and I don't know if Trey Lance will be.
I think the other bit as well is what the teams do with the picks that we've given them. That's always like, because you get the Eli Manning and Rivers comparison even now, that's going back 17 years at this point. There's some interesting stuff in the 49ers future. It'll be fun and slightly terrifying to watch, but to be honest with you, we haven't had a franchise quarterback since Steve Young, and that was 1998. So I'm all right with us taking a shot at it. You've got to do it eventually if you want to be a top team.
It'd be interesting to see if Jimmy G gets injured next season. Obviously, has injured probably this year. What will they do then? If Trey Lance is he ready to come in and they're just going to throw him in, or is Josh Rosen still there? Going to throw him in?
Josh Rosen's redemption.
No way. No
I'm
way.
glad you clarified that because it almost sounded like he was going to get injured for a second. Then, like someone was going to just take him out in the locker room, just break his leg or something. Like, oh no, he got injured. We'll have to play Lance. What a shame.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like you're taking what you think the Jags and the Jets are going to start with Wilson and Lawrence straight away, but Lance is going to be a backup. Surely,
Yeah.
if you're picking third in the draft, you want to pick a starter. I don't know. Like for me, anyway. Like you look at the next two picks, Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase. I mean, they're going to go straight in the team, aren't they?
I
So,
think
I
it
don't know.
depends on the position. So
Yeah.
if you look at a QB, you're going for a franchise QB. You're happy to sit for a year, aren't you? But if you're picking a wide receiver at 3 or 4 or what have you, then you're going to want an impact from him straight away, aren't you? So I think it's purely based on that. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Trey Lance start.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, it all depends what happens
big
off season, doesn't it?
A massive part of that is going to be what happens with the off-season program. I think if it's all virtual, I don't think he's going to start because I think there's that element of needing to be there, needing to build some chemistry with the guys that you can't get if you're not on the field. But I think if it is even partially, at the facility, I think he's going to put it. And let's be honest, if he separates himself by a hair from Garoppolo, he's going to get a start week 1 because we know what the future is. It's not Jimmy G. And like Jordan said, although he was half joking, what happens if he gets injured? Well, he's been injured like 2 out of the 3 seasons that he's played for us, full seasons that he's played for us. So there's a good chance that he will be. So, I wouldn't be at all surprised. He'll definitely start some games this year. It'll be a question of how many, I think, and when.
And Kieran's point was something I was going to bring up, like that. Like you say, he said it there. Doing Mahomes, do what a lot of successful quarterbacks have done and sit as much as you can your first year. Like the more successful quarterbacks taken in the draft are normally not the ones that start day one. Like there's a few exceptions, but you historically more successful ones, they sit for a bit, they learn, and I think it's important. Like it definitely clearly helps. Like
it's a bit of a unique situation as well. When was the last time a team that was all right? We didn't do greatly well last year because of all the injuries, but we were in the Super Bowl the year before. When was the last time a team with that level of talent has moved up to the top 5 of the draft and took a QB? I doubt it's like that. It really is a unique situation. I think it's going to be interesting to watch, but I think I might be watching between my hands for most of the season, just kind of like this. Just the way I see it, if Lance gets in sort of from the start, that's probably good. But if he's coming in partway through the season, that means Garoppolo's failed, and that probably means that season's gone down the path as well.
Mark's made a good point there. I didn't really think about it, to be honest with you. He's obviously missed 2020, 2 years without football. It's a tough situation Shannon's in with, like the trade up and spending so much. It's going to be interesting. It's like John says, it's going to be interesting with the camp, really, isn't it? Everything that goes on, is it going to go back to some normality or what?
Yeah.
So we want to watch that.
To counter that as well, that you can't throw him straight in after a year of no football. I'd probably say 2 or 3 games as a backup and then come in on the 4th or 5th game, because you don't want to just throw him straight in after a year of no football and go, here you go, here's the NFL.
Yeah,
So,
I suppose it
I was
all
going to say,
depends on how pre-season goes and everything like that. Because you've got the pre-season games that if Jimmy is slated as the starter, Trey will get more like snaps in pre-season. Jimmy will play first quarter, and then it'll probably be Trey Lance.
Yeah, it isn't Madden. It's not the same. It's not
Madden.
It is the
same. They did that with Tua, though, didn't they? Did that with Tua. They threw him in straight after the bye week 5 or something like that. And then they'll think they were doing okay, and then they were later on down the line where they took him out halfway through a game because he wasn't doing well, and they put him back in. It's like you've got to get it right. You can. That's where it ruins some quarterbacks' careers by not sitting them the right amount of time, throwing them in. Well, Fitzpatrick could have carried on playing for me, and they might not have done as well as they did, but I don't think it would have mattered too much. I don't think they're expected to have hit what they did anyway.
No. The Giants with DJ, they put him in after 4 games. We went 0-4 with Eli, and then they just made the decision. It was right, crack on. And then he did get well. He won the first 2 games, one being against the Bucks. Just saying. But then I think he played 10 and picked up an ankle sprain, so he sat 1 out. Eli come back, delivered a win. Yeah, and then finish the season off. But I think I'd like to see Trey in from the start, 100%. I just don't see, like, if I'm Shanahan and I've paid 3 firsts and I've been an almost guy, why am I sticking with Jimmy G?
You would have to have serious faith in him recapturing that year where he took us to the Super Bowl as well. And to be honest, that feels a long way down the road right now. One of the other bits that I probably should mention, being a little bit closer to it than perhaps the other guys on here, our fan base are, particularly with quarterbacks, are not very patient. So if we don't start the season very well with Jimmy behind centre, there's going to be some clamour to get Trey Lance in the game. I'm not saying they'll listen to that. This is the same fan base that once chanted for David Carr on Monday Night Football. But if it gets to that point, I think there's going to be a tipping point in the season. Unless we come out and we're absolutely battering teams, I think there's going to be a tipping point in the season where someone goes, if we put Lance in, can we do better than we are now? And Shanahan's as likely to do that as anybody is. He's not the most patient coach in the world. It's going to be a tense year, but I'm quite looking forward to it. It's a nice problem to have at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, number 4 then. Well, I suppose before jumping on what Mart said here about him.
Stick him in with a diluted version of
that was the whole thing. Yeah.
The problem is we are already running a diluted version of the playbook with Jimmy at the centre, to be honest, because he's not the best deep thrower. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I get the impression that Shanahan's going to see Trey Lance live and he's going to see him hit some downfield throws and he's going to go, I can't keep this guy out of the team. That's if I was going to make a prediction now, sat here on the 3rd of May, that would be my call. I think he's going to see him in camp. He's going to see him in preseason and go, I can't leave this guy out. And that will be a story.
Yeah. I'd also read somewhere that his intelligence goes unnoticed. Didn't he have 500 plays on his arm for North Dakota or something?
North Dakota, yeah.
I mean, that's fucking outrageous, isn't it? Let's be honest. 500 plays. So never mind a diluted version of the work. If he can hold that, then just go for it. All signs point to all signs point to doing it. If I'd want it, I know if I was a San Fran fan, I'd be like, well, what's the risk? You're not sticking with Jimmy G, are you?
That's it.
You throw Trey in, and if he fails in the first season, then you put it down to adversity and learning. He's clearly the guy. Didn't he start high school as a 0-star recruit?
Yeah, probably.
So the guy has clearly come through adversity. He's clearly got something about him. Being thrown in the deep end is not going to affect him. He's only going to learn and get better from it. I mean, for me, all signs point to just go for it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Am I wrong in saying this, by the way? Did Carson Wentz start as a rookie? I think he did, didn't he? For the Eagles. I'm just saying that.
Let's hope that Trey Lance's career doesn't go on.
Did somebody just say Eagles?
Fly, Eagles, fly, on our way to victory.
I should have known better, yeah. So I think he did start for the franchise in Philadelphia. So I mean, it can be done. Obviously, they weren't in the same position we were, but it'll be interesting to see. I think North Dakota, as a college the size of North Dakota, getting 2 players drafted in the top 5 as quarterbacks must be doing something right in development, regardless of what's happened to Wentz's career in the last couple of years. So maybe Lance is ready. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Definitely. So then the unicorn was pick number 4, the one that was everyone's question mark of whether there'd be a trade back or. If there wasn't, I think everyone had saw that Pitts was going at number 4. So what's our thoughts on that, Falcons?
I think it confirms what we said about they've committed to Matt Ryan, for sure. It definitely confirms that. If the contract hadn't already, I think that definitely nails it in. And like you say, he's the unicorn. He's versatile. Put him anywhere. He's going to be a good tool for Atlanta. He's going to be a good target for Matt Ryan.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Obviously, we don't know what's going to go on with Julio Jones at the moment. If he does stay, I think Hayden Hurst today didn't pick up his 5th year, did they? But he still might come back, on a cheaper thing. But even so, if Jones does stay, you got Jones, Ridley, Kyle Pitts. what a trio to be throwing. So
Yeah, like unbelievable.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Problem either, really, for Atlanta. Like they were still scoring points last year. They just couldn't hold on to leads. Now we've heard that one before.
I was going to say game management was Atlanta's biggest problem, wasn't it? It wasn't players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. I think it was a no-brainer. Really, they couldn't get out of the 4 slot because for whatever reason. So why not take the best player? He was clearly the best player there. So yeah, it makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I can't wait. I know we're going to break it down within the next few weeks with the NFC South, but I'm slightly biased as I am a Buccaneer, but it's one of the strongest divisions. Like, the Saints aren't bad, Panthers aren't bad, Falcons aren't bad, especially with the draft, McCaffrey coming back, Kyle Pitts. Don't know what Saints are going to do, whether it's going to be Winston or Taysom, but they've still got Alvin Kamara and all of that lot as well. And then the reigning champs as well. So it's going to be a very competitive year. Hopefully we still top it. But I think anybody, like, one thing that always gets overlooked with the NFC South is I'm pretty sure within the last 10 years, all of their teams have made the Super Bowl.
I didn't know that, to be fair.
Panthers lost to, obviously, the Patriots. Saints won it in 2010. I think around about there, and obviously the Falcons lost to the Patriots as well. So how many divisions have done that?
Maybe it's because they've only got a 50% win rate that people forget about it.
Actually, the West has done okay. The NFC West has done okay.
Only 2 out of the 4 teams have won the Super Bowl based on that.
I thought you were like giving us like a Giants kind of thing where we went through on losing records.
No. I just meant that only 2 of the 4 teams has won the Super Bowl, so maybe that's why people forget.
But it's pretty impressive. Like, thinking about it, not a lot of people.
I didn't think it. No, I didn't realize, to be fair.
You're also in the easier side, though.
I mean,
on the easier side of the NFC.
Yeah.
You're in the NFC.
I'm not going to sit here and say that our fucking division's great. It's shite.
I mean, considering what 4 of us on here now on the NFC, you're going to say
it is the weaker division, isn't it? It's not. It flips not and flops. Dispute.
It moves around.
I mean, like 10 years ago when the Saints won it, though, I'd say the NFC was the strongest. When the Seahawks won it, NFC was strongest.
Yeah, like go back to those bloody epic 49ers Seahawks battles that were the real Super Bowl most of the years. The NFC was really in the ascendancy then. So Bones is right; it flips around a hell of a lot, and I think people are
that's why we love it so much. That's why we love the sport so much, because you don't know who's going to be coming up.
That's why the draft's so interesting, because this is what flips it. This is one of that and free agency, but this is one of the things that can flip this whole which division, which conference is the best, and this is what makes this time of year so exciting.
Yeah, I think the most surprising one for most of us, I don't know if any of you guys saw it coming, but pick number 5, everybody went Penny Sewell. And it wasn't.
There was a lot of talk because of the Joe Burrow thing. I actually didn't think they'd go there, but I suppose it makes sense.
Rumours coming into the week that Burrow had supposedly gone in and demanded Jamar Chase be drafted to play alongside him, but it makes sense. He is definitely the best receiver in the class, I think. And to put him back with Burrow, who they've won together previously in college, you've got this. It's like the reunions across the board. It is the case of just getting that synergy from day one. There's no, especially in the time where we might be in remote learning situations, like everyone's saying, it could be a remote off season again. Having that playing familiarity with someone you played with at college is big when there's not as much off season to train.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I thought they might go Penny Sewell, but it's not a big surprise that they went in the way they did with Jamar Chase. I think Mark made a point earlier on saying that what shocked him the trade back, and they stuck with Jackson Carman now. If that obviously it's not fair enough, but they had a few tackles and stuff they could have picked, which were obviously a need, a big need.
Yeah.
I think he's mentioned there Tevin Jenkins. Yeah, Liam Eichenberg. I rate him as a tackle, and could have picked him up, which was a surprise, really.
Yeah, it was the first one I kind of went, oh, okay. That was a bit of a, not like a huge surprise, but I did think they would go Sewell. I don't think it was a bad thing they went with Chase. I'm just a bit. I kind of side with Mark. I think it looks worse in hindsight because you go, well, okay, but where's the O line? And I didn't like the guy they took really. But you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. If they think he's the guy for tackle, and they think Chase has got that big separation between him and any receiver they could have got in that spot, then then fair enough. It was a deep tackle draft, so you just kind of that guy, I suppose.
Yeah, I did go back and watch some highlights from different round one draftees, and I watched Jamar Chase, and I think it was 2019 against Alabama, and with the Cowboys that drafted Trayvon Diggs. I can't remember, it were Cowboys.
Yeah.
Anyway, he absolutely. If you go back and watch that tape, he absolutely destroys Diggs. I'm sure he were first rounder last year. Absolutely destroys him, and it just shows you. It makes sense. Like bloody hell, he is absolutely awesome. I get why they drafted.
It
will be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the Bengals massively because they've sort of been a bit of a joke franchise, haven't they? If we're honest, and especially in the last few years, even when drafting Burrows and that injury, everyone was saying, "Well, you're fucking stupid because you just didn't give him any protection." So that's why everyone was expecting Sewell. Or I think people said it was a heavier tackle draft than it was a heavier wide receiver. So why not do what they did?
I still expect them to have 6 losses though in that division.
Yes, it's
division, isn't it? I think Browns and Ravens will get onto them later. They've drafted so well. So impressed with that draft.
Yeah. So obviously this was our prediction for the first 5 with you guys. We got 3 of the 5. Like so 1, 2, and 4. Obviously went Justin Fields and Penny Sewell, respectfully. But this is our 5, our first 5.
A happy bunch.
Exactly. They're all happy. They're smiling. They're having a good time. All NFL players now. So that is our first 5. Before we do break down the rest of them, I think the question we got to ask is, what's everybody drinking?
Here of the week. Oh dear.
I'm back on the tequila again.
Yes, Bones, he loves it. I've come away from the Robinsons for a week. I've actually gone for a beer. I'm rocking the old Kingfisher. It's a beauty. Although it seems to be expanding foam. I had a real problem with the head pouring it. It just didn't stop growing. I wish that happened in another area. But not my belly.
Myself, obviously, I had to decide. I got 4 bottles of vodka for my birthday, so I was like, I got to open one of them, don't I? So got this beautiful Icelandic vodka Eureka. Drank that much already, so it's very tasty. I had some just straight last night on the rocks, and then today I was like, I'm gonna have some with Dr. Pepper. So vodka and Dr. Pepper. Man.
Like it.
Sounds like a horrendous combination.
It does, doesn't it?
Vodka Dr. Pepper is beautiful. If you've never had it before, I mean, if you want to go absolutely crazy, vodka Iron Brew is absolutely beautiful.
Wicked.
Yeah, basically, it's bloody beautiful. And just to answer Gary's question as well, I am having a banoffee pie made by my friend Taryn, who made it himself, who obviously got it for my birthday. So, banoffee pie by Taryn. There you go, Gary.
Beautiful.
Kieran's put a bit off subject here. Kieran's put, not a chance we're losing all 6. Didn't lose all 6 last season, and we've improved massively since. Tom knows I like a bet. So should we put £20 on it for Mark's charity?
Yeah, so like that. Kieran's a betting man. He'll be in on that 100%.
Definitely.
I won't be paying Tom out for a long time anyway, so we might as well do another one.
So what is everyone else drinking?
What are you drinking?
I'm on. Sorry, lads. I'm on coffee. Sorry.
Need the
It's all right,
caffeine
I'm
after
on
the draft.
water, so it's all good. I'm on water, but I'm beginning to regret my decision because I needed a piss since the podcast started. So if I start talking frantically when we're around pick 20, I may have to leave shortly after.
I've done
Kieran's
it the
having
past
you on
2
for that.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Kieran's message
But I
saying
mean-
he's up for it.
Here's a good bet.
Well, like-
I like that.
So we are supposed to be doing a draft podcast, so let's get back to it. We've done the first 5.
Yeah.
About number 6, Tom.
Number 6. That was Jalen Waddle.
Wow. Sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not seen much of him, but for me, out of the 3 wide receivers, I've heard least about him. But he seemed to have been second, the second in the class. So obviously, you boys that watch quite a lot of tape, talk me through it. What do we think?
Someone brought it up before. It is the reunion. It's another reunion. It's Tua
Yeah.
and Waddle played together before. Similar argument for why you'd reunite the other ones, I guess, in a way. And he is definitely number 2 in this class. Some people had him as wide receiver number 1 in this class. I think there's a few people who had him ahead of Chase.
Yeah.
So he's definitely up there. There's a few comparisons to other players, but yeah, I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, I think.
I just find it crazy that he passed on Sewell.
Well, they did all right, I thought. Obviously, like I said, I don't want to go too much into other rounds because we'll do that at a later date. But obviously, they picked up Waddle and they did pick up Liam Eichenberg for their for the thing. So that were a good couple of pickups for them. Obviously, they've got Will Fuller as well, aren't they? Coming back, I think he's got 1 or 2 more games banned. I can't remember how many it is, but that's another good piece for them. So yeah, I think I'm looking good for the Dolphins. Running back might be a concern, but Gaskin did all right back end.
Yeah, it's funny. I know quite a few Dolphins fans. There seems to be a lot of negativity knocking round on Thursday night, Friday morning. But then they weren't happy with the picks. Thought they could have had better value. I thought they came out pretty well. We'll obviously discuss the second pick in a second, but I thought they came out all right. Waddle was number 2 wide receiver for me. Certainly had him booked Devonta Smith, and to be honest, but for a bit of bad luck with injury, he might have won the Heisman himself anyway. I was a bit surprised they didn't take Sewell, but I get needing weapons for Tua. It feels a bit like they're loading him up and saying, right, here's everything you need. If you fail now, it's on you. And it means that they may wipe the slate clean next year, possibly. But no, I like the pick.
I'd love Tua to fail, not going to lie. I'd love it. I really would. Just can't deal with a left-handed quarterback.
He's sick, isn't it?
Proper struggle. It's so weird. But yeah, I don't think it was a big shock to anyone, was it? Like I say, I thought they would have taken Sewell. Didn't they move their left tackle to right tackle, which almost for me was like, oh well, maybe they're making room for Sewell, but
just to throw you all off on your betting.
Yeah. Oh, I had a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Day 1, done.
The strange thing about it was Dolphins picked almost as soon as they were on the clock, so it seemed a dead set they were going for Sewell because everybody thought the Bengals would. And then suddenly it's Waddle. It's like, oh, okay. So you get the impression they had him locked in pretty early. They must have thought he was the guy. He was the guy, and if he was there, they were going to take him. Simple as that.
I definitely think they needed weapons, didn't they, for Tua, for sure. So
Tua lover, absolutely loves him. So I suppose Owens will move on to yours. Got to be happy, surely, that he fell to you at 7.
I mean, I don't think I was as I'm happy, but I don't think anyone was as happy as Brad Holmes in that draft room where on the reaction video.
An absolute kneecap chewer.
Bumps, yeah, bro, we did it. But no, yeah, it's good. I think we briefly discussed it on the day. Obviously, the right side of our line was weaker. We do have Taylor Decker, but this shows up another side of our line. Even if you swap them around, it shores up a bit of our line that needed shoring up. Our center's good, Frank Ragnar. Our left tackle, Taylor Decker, is good. So, you get that right tackle in. It's that it's going to be great. Like Swift's going to have a good line in front of him. Goff needs a run game to be like anything like beyond a shit quarterback. Like he needs a run game, doesn't he? So like
just needs to hand every ball off.
Yeah, or play off the play action a little bit more, like get it out there. But there's not much to say, is there? He fell to 7 unbelievably. Like we got him. Draft room was happy about it. Yeah, and like Mark said in the chat, we can get like 12 years out of this guy. He's young, and linemen can play longer than other positions. Like the wear and tear isn't as bad as other positions. So yeah, we'll probably see a long time out of him. And like Chris said, Sewell and Swift. Like I think our line plus Swift is going to be. I'm looking forward to our run game. I think we've committed to. We're going to be a run first team, big time. And
run heavy.
Even with some of our later picks, like I've seen some tape on like some of the really later picks, like the wide receivers and stuff. Like, I think we're gonna be committing to a bit of a run game, which is cool. I'm excited.
This was one of my favourite picks, probably my favourite pick in the first round, and it wasn't really out of like great judgment as such. I don't think the Lions would have ever expected Sewell to be there at 7. There was a lot of talk. I know you said the same, Bones, of trading out potentially, but that guy is a cornerstone player. That is exactly what you need when you've just come in. That's that's possibly some of the Rams thinking, with your new front office. I think he's looking at it going, they got the best out of Goff and they had a pretty good O-line. This guy, foundational piece, Joe Thomas-like player for me, could play 10, 15 years. I think 12 years of Sewell is a movie, but aside from that, I absolutely love this pick. Absolutely foundational, not flashy. Everybody focuses, on the night of the draft, everybody focuses on the Justin Fields, the Trey Lances. These are the picks that win you games long term. I absolutely love this pick, as you can probably tell by my enthusiasm for that one. But I absolutely love this pick.
He played with another one of our linemen as well, Tyrell Crosby at college. They both went to the same college, and he said in his press conference like they're like family. So it's good to have people who know each other again, like who will get on well. It should make him help him fit into the team better. Yeah, all around great. Yeah, can't complain.
Good. So then pick 8 was. I'd say this was probably the first real surprise. I didn't see Carolina going corner, and if it was, I didn't see JC Horn going first. I know everyone was saying they were very close. I think George, you even said, I think someone had put a bet in about Surtain being first corner, and you were like, you wouldn't be surprised to see JC Horn go. But I don't know. What's people's thoughts on it going there? What we're talking?
Yeah, I would say JC Horn and Surtain, I didn't think there was much in them. It's whatever you prefer as a team. And obviously, Carolina preferred JC Horn, and as soon as I look at that pick and I just look at that Panthers defense now, there's some young guns in there that are first rounders now, and they're really getting a defense together there. You've got people like Derek Brown, Jeremy Chin, that's the guy, and now you've got JC Horn. It's looking, he's putting a good team together there, and JC Horn's is a lockdown corner potential. Obviously it might take him a couple of years to get there. You know what it's like as going in as a cornerback into the NFL, but he's definitely got the qualities.
Mark's got a good point. Like, was gonna mention it.
Well, just come on the bloody show, will you?
The choice for the Panthers came down to do you want the press man coverage guy or do you want the zone guy? And like Mark said, they play a lot more press coverage, man press than they do zone coverage. So there was running up to the week of the draft, there was more and more mock drafts saying the Panthers were going to go for a cornerback, and it could be like Horn first off the board. Like it came up a bit more in the week before, but like when we did ours, I don't think we predicted that. Surtain was definitely the higher choice.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. There's a lot of heat about this pick because they've picked him at 8. It's way too early. I don't think it was that early at all. If we'd have stayed at 12, I would have wanted JC Horn. I think he's perfect pressman corner. I like the pick. You could argue that at 8, they might have looked elsewhere. There was still quarterbacks on the board at the time. Fields was still there, and obviously Mac Jones was still there. But I don't know. I think this was a perfectly fine pick. It's one of those that won't get, again, a bit like the Lions pick, it won't get a ton of press, but I think long term it's probably the better pick. It's certainly not flashy, but it does the job.
I think if they're committed to Sam Darnold, then I think it's a top pick, because if you look at the wide receiver room, it's obviously that is someone like Devontae Smith, but Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore are solid. You've got Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
it's a decent offense, really. It's so if Sam Darnold's your guy, then obviously you go with the best player available, and it's cornerback for them, especially on defense.
Yeah, well, coincidentally, they took the 5th option on Darnold after the draft, didn't they? So I'd imagine there was a few calls to see if there was a trade back there, but they took it out, didn't they? And happy days. I think, like you say, they're building a really good defense there. Young, offense isn't bad. You look at that team and go, maybe the next sort of. I suppose it depends what you get out of Darnold, because no one's actually seen the true Darnold, have they? Because the Jets just absolutely shat all over him. But Panthers have given him something to work with, so let's see what Darnold they get, whether it is the one that should have been picked ahead of Baker or not. Again, hopefully they pick the Bucs, because that'd just be brilliant. That's definitely one I'm looking forward to. I think the next pick with number 9 was, again, this is what changed the draft for me at this point.
This is my biggest surprise, personally.
Yeah, genuinely.
Had Denver going quarterback all the way up to the draft, even
especially when you've got Fields and Jones there at that point.
Yeah, I'm kind of convinced at this point that although he's not making the picks anymore because they hired George Payton, I think John Elway is actively trying to make sure the Broncos never have a quarterback as good as him. Because otherwise, I can't make head and tail of this pick. It's not a bad pick. Pat said he's a great player. Again, if we'd have been at 12, I would have quite liked to have ended up with it. But I really don't know what the long-term strategy is in Denver, whether they think they are getting Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, but it struck me as like Bones says, it was probably the first one where it completely deviated from from where I thought it would go. Jordan's left.
We've lost Jordan.
Disgusting in Denver's pick.
Have you heard the rumor though that Surtain could be part of the Rodgers deal?
I hadn't heard that. He's back again.
I don't know what I was listening to, because
I remember Drew Lock, quarterback.
Oh God, not another year of Drew Lock starting at
I was saying it to you though, but I don't know if I've interrupted someone here jumping back in. But I was saying to you in chat, Bones, that I can't remember who was saying it. We're respective media guys saying that you've got to give Drew Lock a chance of what happened last year. With everything with COVID, you had Cortland Sutton out for a year. You had a rookie, Jerry Jeudy, coming into the first thing. And I remember your point saying that the drop passes from Jerry Jeudy, I get that. But I also think, just like spitballing, if it does go wrong for the Broncos, are they going to be? They're not going to be past a 6 or 7 win team, are they? So they could be back in the market for a quarterback next year with a few good quarterbacks anyway. Long term, maybe. And you've got Teddy Bridgewater to steady the ship. That's probably maybe. I don't know that definitely. I'm just throwing out ideas. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Give Drew Lock one more chance, and you've got Spencer Rattler and the guy from Tar Heels. I can't remember his name. Or is it Howell? Maybe they go back in again next year.
Yeah.
And maybe it is Rodgers, like John said all along. If they can get him.
It'd be crazy. The whole Rodgers thing. I don't know. I just think it's too big that he wouldn't go back to Green Bay. I don't know. Think about how much he cost. No matter that he's 37.
It's an interesting one, because Rodgers seems like the type who will do what he says he's going to do, but at the same time have Green Bay
he's an absolute prick.
But at the same time, have Green Bay ever displayed that they give a shit about what Aaron Rodgers thinks anyway?
No.
Partly so.
They don't draft things that he wants to draft. They don't give a they don't care about what Aaron Rodgers thinks anyway. So he'll be like, I want trading, and they'll be like, okay, well we'll see you at the preseason.
I'd love it if he retired. Imagine that he spat his dummy out that much and retired to go Jeopardy. Oh God!
The next 2 years,
field day.
The next 2 years, if Rodgers goes and Russell Wilson goes, Tom will be loving it, won't he?
I would have a field day. Oh
There's a
my
few things
God.
in play, though, isn't there? Like, one, Rodgers doesn't really need football if he doesn't want to play it. That's the thing. I think that's why he's holding the retired threat. He's got a bit of a celebrity status about him because he's a prick. I'll just get in before Tom does. But, he's got that. If he doesn't want to be there, he doesn't have to be. And you're right, Bones. They clearly don't care what he thinks, but they didn't care what Brett Favre thought either. So it's it's a pretty common thing for the Packers. The rumor is now that he wants the GM fired, which, to be honest, sounds completely mental to me. I don't know why any professional organization would do that, regardless of how good the quarterback is. This guy, you've put a guy in charge of the franchise and you're going to sack him because your 37-year-old quarterback pissed off. It doesn't make sense. It just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's an absolute circus out there.
He's a tit.
To be fair, the stuff that Brett Favre comes out with now, they're probably right not to ignore him back in day.
The less said about him, the better. We can talk about him when we get to the later picks. Tosser. Chain reaction now started happening. So we're then at pick 10, and it's the first trade on the night. So Eagles and Cowboys clearly shitting themselves at how well the Giants are going to do. Interdivisional trade pops up because the Eagles didn't want the Giants to get Devonta Smith. The Cowboys know that the Eagles are shite, so don't care that they improve. Just please don't let the Giants be good. That was the Cowboys thinking, clearly. So good trade for the Cowboys, I think, and a good trade for the Eagles. Obviously, they picked Devonta Smith, Heisman. Good pick. I think everyone was quite clear that wide receiver was a big need of the Eagles. Will it make them a winning team? No, terrible. But
throw to himself would be the way I would look at it. Unless Devonta Smith is throwing passes to himself, I don't think they're going to be a whole lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what a full season of Jalen Hurts is like. I didn't know much about. Well, do you know what? I don't know much about the college team now, but I wasn't listening to people much back then. He was drafted. He was second round, wasn't he? I know Mart said he was quite highly on his board.
I liked him.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what a full season's like.
Yeah, he's got some talent. It's just that, again, it's another circus organisation at the moment. They've got a coach they potentially don't want. I don't know. I don't have high up. I like the pick, by the way, just in case all the Eagles fans out there think I'm shitting on them, and yes, somebody did say Eagle. I like the pick, but I don't know that they could have gone anywhere. I think we said this last week. They could have gone anywhere, really. They're lacking in a few areas, but I don't think getting a guy with the talent level of Devonta Smith is a bad thing. Dallas had nothing to lose. They missed on both corners they probably wanted, so move down, get some extra picks. It made sense to me.
Yeah. They got the extra third, didn't they?
Yeah. You said it about 5 times. I'm just going to wait until we finish with the pick. So here you go.
Fly, Eagles, fly, on our way to victory.
Did anyone see
I'm not playing it every time you said it.
Did anyone see the video of Howie in the draft room? It wasn't for the Devonta Smith pick, but one of the later rounds where he's buzzing and he's bouncing around and everyone else is just despondent. And I think goes that last guy don't need to go fist bump, and the guy is like, I was just like, what? All right, you're a prick, mate. That's what you did. And it was a terrible pick. Yeah. But yeah, tossers. Moving on. So, pick 11. I'm getting excited. I'm thinking we're on the clock. And then it comes up. Well, actually, let me be clear. I didn't actually see that it was a trade live. We had inside information where Mr. Love was tweeting fucking 40 hours ahead of the draft, telling everyone what was happening. Tosser, stop. So started to ruin the draft me, which really wound me up. So I found out by inside sources that the Giants traded, and yet the Bears moved up. We got their. I don't know. What's everyone's opinion? I think we fleeced them, getting their next year's first and fifth, this year's fourth, and obviously swapping first. I thought we did really well out of it, but I also think the Bears did well out of it. What do you think?
Time will tell.
I think it's been said as well, like on the podcast in the past. If you think that is your future quarterback, like pay what it costs to go and get him. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the San Francisco 49ers did it, and the Bears have done it as well. Like, if they think he's going to be the guy, and they're willing to give up next year's first for it, fair play to them. But yeah, I think you've done well to get a first as well. Like another 2 firsts next year is. It's good, isn't it? No one doesn't want 2 firsts.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, Trader Dave, just outrageous. Haven't traded once in 8 years. And then he's just throwing them all out, isn't he? It's just unbelievable.
It turns out if you want him to do something, all you have to do is spite him into it by keep mentioning it for like weeks and weeks.
I said it on the week before, didn't I? It was clear as day. But I think you look at it in hindsight. I think Joe just clearly had an effect on what Trader Dave's been doing. Like, Trader Dave is this league is a Russian league, and we need hog mollies to us finally never taking a DT in a draft, which I think is the first time under Trader Dave. And all we care about is giving DJ tools. I think times are changing, and what I like what the Giants have done. As much as I'm a DJ fan, and I hope he does come forward, I'm not under any illusions that this is probably his year, make or break. So the Giants have now gone, well, if he doesn't make it after everything we're giving him, then we've got 2 firsts, we've got capital next year that we could move up, or go and acquire someone. Hopefully not Russell. And yeah, so I think he'll be hosting Jeopardy by then. But, so yeah, I think Bears fans are happy with it, and I think Giants fans are happy with it. I wasn't on the night. To be honest, I didn't want to stay up any later. Instead, they made me stay up till pick 20, and then we'll obviously move on to our pick. But because of that pick, I then couldn't sleep till about 28. So yeah, it was a long, long night. So then pick 12, the Cowboys, dream world for them. They've got Slater on the board, and Micah Parsons on the board, and they got an extra third. Where did they go? Micah Parsons. Thoughts?
Solid pick. Like, they need linebacker help. Best linebacker in the draft. Like, plays that.
I was a bit surprised. But when I thought about it more, yeah, fair enough. There's injury issues there with a couple of the linebacking core. And yeah, fair enough. But like you said, the best linebacker in the draft makes sense to me. No issues at all.
Plays a nice aggressive style as well.
Slater.
You reckon?
I thought, to be fair, I thought the Giants were going to go there. So then I thought, Cowboys would probably take him. I didn't expect him to drop to where he did. But yeah, I also think it was a good pick. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking forward to Saquon running against him at all. He's made the Cowboys stronger. I think after the drafts, I think the Cowboys and Giants are the ones to look out for in that division. I still think Washington are good. I think they had a mediocre draft. Don't think they improved much. So I think it'd go 1-2, Cowboys, Giants, not sure what order, Washington, and then the Dross. I won't say the name because they are just Dross. Scum. That's what they are. Absolute scum. Interdivisional trade. You tramps. Perry. Run scared. We don't even need to chew kneecaps for teams to be scared of us.
Giants
Just imagine how scary you'd be if you did.
Yeah, I would have loved Mart to have been on here to talk about Micah Parsons, because I just love how he goes on about the players he loves. Clearly a big pick.
He's got that ability to put pressure on the quarterback. Like he has the speed to get into the backfield quickly. Like, he's going to be there for a while, isn't he? And he's potential to be a good player. But I think he's one of those ones that John would say is like a boom or bust kind of player. Like, he could be really good, but I've heard a few people say it could just as easily go the other way with Parsons, especially.
Yeah.
I guess.
Someone with that going to Dallas is an interesting one. I don't know. We'll see.
I hope he sparks Jerry out. Imagine that.
Just shins the old man. Like, probably kill him. Like, Jerry Jones is so frail now.
Yeah. Do you see their draft room look like the Death Star?
Yeah.
Mate, it looks like the meeting room where Darth Vader chokes out that dude. Like, it's ridiculous. Why did your draft room look like that?
The thing I like about it, they have all these highly paid executives and scouts in there, and there's basically one man making the decision. And he's how old is he now? He must be heading for his 80s, surely. You know, a guy with no football background whatsoever, and he's the guy making the picks. It's just, yeah.
Cowboys, man.
So funny. So then, pick 13, LA Chargers must be absolutely laughing. Slater's still on the board, and they gobble him up. I think I'm looking forward to seeing them. I think they're going to do well this season.
They are, yeah, I really do.
Well, they've got
obviously the coaching change.
Put him as left tackle, though. I think he might. I don't know who the left tackle are in the first place, but I'd say he's more of a guard. But
yeah,
I thought they might have gone Darisaw, but obviously he slipped down a lot further than I thought he would. But
yeah,
might have gone Darisaw.
Raiders, which we'll move on to.
It still wasn't a massive surprise that they went for Slater. It was one or other. I can't. I'm not going to argue about either one, but I did think it might be Darisaw at left tackle because they've got at right tackle. They got Lindsley and centre, didn't they? From thinking that's So even with Slater, it's a strong looking line in it for Herbert.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of talk when obviously the Giants wanted Slater, a lot of the Giants fans, but they were saying, do you put him into guard? But then you look at that tape about how he handled Chase Young, and you go, well, you know what? You wouldn't take him out of tackle, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the Chargers do with him. But like you said, if you can fit in anywhere, it just makes him a lot stronger. And with Herbert, who had a great season with a not so strong line, that's exciting time for them, surely.
Yeah, definitely.
That division is looking tasty.
Shame no one will go watch them play, but
it was a really great draft for the 15,000 fans.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Bless them. So then, pick 14, another trade. So the Jets move up. I think a few people were surprised. A lot of people saw them sticking where they were and going with their running back. But yeah, I think it was a good move. What about you guys? Rivera Tucker?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. You know, it's showing up that blind side for Zach Smith. Because obviously we know what Becton can do. He's an absolute animal. So imagine having Rivera Tucker alongside him as well. You know,
it's locked down.
I didn't know when the trade came in. I thought they were going to go for Rivera Tucker, to be honest with you, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like saying O-line picks are good, aren't they? Like it's a way to set up for the future, and they've drafted the quarterback of the future. Get your O-line of the future there as well now, while you can, and they're there for the same amount of time, then aren't they? Like it's a solid pick. It's just not the flashy pick, is it? It's not the.
No, fair play to them for being aggressive and going and getting him as well. Although Minnesota did well out of it, because we'll come on to their pick shortly. But I think, if you've seen your guy and he is your guy, you'll get him. And I like it. I don't know if that's where I would have gone, but if he's a good player, and if that's what they thought was the right thing to do, I have seen no reason to question it.
Was he the strongest guard in the class? Is that the sort of general consensus? Out and out guard.
Yeah. It depends what you class Rashawn Slater as. If you are going to put him tackle, then he's definitely the strongest guard. But Rashawn Slater and Rivera Tucker both as guards. Me personally, I don't think there's much in it. You know, like even Rivera Tucker's played at tackle before. You know, I'm not saying that's his best position, but he has played there.
I like it.
Is it Rivera Tucker who's played all over the line?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
played on the right side. Didn't he? That showed like each one.
Yeah, he's played on every position on the line. So I guess, it's just a solid O-line pickup. He probably will still go guard, but he could go anywhere. There you go.
Smart said there.
Certainly the best pass blocking true guard.
You've got to give Wilson someone like that, then, haven't you? You've got to give them a chance. The Jets historically haven't cared about their quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them be bothered for once.
Yeah,
and then we move to 15.
Guess.
Yeah. Bill Belichick's dreams have come true. Never seen a quicker pick his in my life, I don't think. Must have been, about 34 seconds?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Jamie, just throwing this out there quick. I don't know if you've got the video of Mac Jones walking to the stage. I don't know why I've watched it so many times, but it's just hilarious. I don't know why.
It's so good, isn't it? Yeah, it is so good.
Just
Proper swagger.
Someone who's like a comparison of him walking and Bill Belichick walking. And it was so similar.
It's the stomp walk. The really
His body just looks odd, doesn't it? Like he just looks like an odd-shaped man.
Yeah.
Really weird.
I mean, draft photo. He's got the physique of a bag of potatoes, doesn't he? So
yeah, I love the picture of him with a cigar in his gob and his gut just hanging out. True athlete, what a guy!
Yeah, good. Yeah, like you said, good pick for Patriots. They were sat there, didn't go up and get a quarterback, and they've done all right. You can sit behind Cam now. Cam Newton's got a 1-year contract, hasn't he? And they've already got Cam some weapons as well. So even if Mac Jones had to come in, if Cam's injured or not playing well, we've got drafted some drafted free agent tight ends. They picked up a couple of good ones, and obviously a couple of wide receivers that are okay. An ex-Raider.
Yeah. It was interesting because in the mock draft that you did, you both picked this. I know, obviously, you traded up to get him, but Mart stayed at this place, and it just seemed like one of those destined picks to happen. And here's the moment when it happened.
It's so good.
He looks like someone who just started their first year at upper school, and they've bought him a uniform that's way too big. That's going to last him.
His suit was terrible, wasn't it? You see all these flashy suits, and it was just awful.
I mean, it's QB number 5.
Orange trainers on. He clearly knew he was getting picked by the Bengals, didn't he? He had white trainers with orange sort of, I don't know, trim on them.
You're trying to say the NFL's rigged?
No, scripted much, but we'll see.
No, his QB5 goes number 5. He's the 5th QB off the board. He doesn't do anything amazingly, but he does everything pretty well. He'll fit in New England.
Mac Jones is a great pick at 5 and would have been a horrible pick at 3 at 5. 15 and would have been a horrible pick at 3. It's
I wish it happened in a way, just to see your reaction.
I think I would have been all right. We'll come on to good reactions shortly, but no, I think I said last week, and like you say, one of the guys mocked it. I thought the Patriots would be laughing at this point. I thought a quarterback would fall. I didn't know if it would be Jones, because obviously there was that chatter about would Jones go 3, where would Fields go, but I had a feeling they were going to get one of the QBs, and I think it's exactly what they would have wanted. To be honest, looking at who came after them, they might have even got away with going down a few picks, but I can understand why they didn't take the risk.
I think one of the things, like you said, it was Justin Fields weren't even picked this year. I just loved it. Keep going back into the green room, and he's just there, sat there like, what's going on? Why am I still here?
He was just chilling on Twitter all the time, wasn't he?
It was just like, kept going back to him. It's like, surely you're going into like the late 15s, like in the second half of the draft, and a person that was going to be 3rd, predicted by us, was still not picked yet. It was just mental.
It was clearly smoke screens, wasn't it? The Jones talk.
Yeah, no one will ever believe a word that Kyle Shanahan says ever again.
I don't think he ever said it. I stand by. I don't think he ever said a single thing. I think someone else has just said this. The world's run with it, and Shanahan's gone, I'll let them run with it. I don't give a shit. The world can think what they want to think.
There was all that thing of Chris Sims said it, so it must be true. It's like, Chris
Sims was that twat, That clown.
It all seemed to kick off, didn't it? When I think Shanahan went to Mac Jones's pro day over Justin Fields and Trey Lance, and they all kicked off from there. He probably knew we were going to go to there were going to be other chances to see him, and it just were a massive smoke screen from there. And it's like Bone said, or I don't know if it was John that said, "Yeah, let him roll with it." I mean, it's not really, no matter to me.
Yeah, no point correcting somebody if they're making a mistake. The interesting thing is we've pulled that stunt a few times. I think I said on last week's show we pulled it with Quinnen Williams and Nick Bosa a couple of years ago. Kept telling people we thought Quinnen Williams was just as special as Nick Bosa, and just as our fans were set to light the torches and pitchforks, we took Nick Bosa and everybody calmed down. So I did have a feeling in the back of my mind that was what we would do, but yeah, it didn't work. Well, it probably has worked out quite well for Mac Jones. He's going to a no pressure situation in a lot of ways, and he's working for one of the greatest coaches of all time. So
yeah, agreed.
No problem.
So then pick 16, the pick before the best pick of the draft. Zaven Collins to Cardinals. I didn't know much about him. What's that fit like?
This one I was surprised with. I love the player, but I wasn't. They might utilise him well, like obviously we don't know until it happens. But he's played a lot outside linebacker. But I heard somewhere that Kingsbury were going to play him inside linebacker.
Right.
Like play a 3-4, don't they? I think up in Arizona. So
yeah,
obviously, and it might be a good pick. But I was surprised. We scheme for what he brings.
Yeah.
People saying that like the Kingsbury like positionalist players.
Yeah, they keep
he was
doing
one of them.
They keep doing this. Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, these type of players where it's like, they're positionless. Well, it's great to have that, but you need some actual players on that defense first. It's great to pick projections, but you need some solidity around them. And right now they haven't got it. I didn't mind the pick. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, he is.
I just can't work out what they're going to do with him. A bit like you, Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do.
I really like him. Fantastic player. Nothing wrong with that. And like I said, he might end up like we're just sat here discussing it. He might end up being absolutely fantastic. Who knows? But it was a head scratcher at the time. But I'll never take the mick out of anything until I see him after a few years.
Apart from the next
It's definitely.
We'll move on to that. Yeah, let's talk about Collins a little bit more.
I've heard Cardinals fans aren't happy about Collins, and I was surprised to hear that because, whilst it was a surprise maybe that they took him, I guess I don't like you say he's not a bad player. This guy's a good linebacker. He's more of an outside linebacker. He's more of a blitz kind of guy. He's more of your pass rusher than he is like a coverage guy. But I think that'll be fine. Is it a 4-3 or are they one of the weird 3-3-5 teams?
They are a bit of a hybrid because of guys like Simmons and Baker, but I don't, I think...
Because if it's more of a 3-3-5, I guess he fits a bit better, doesn't he?
I thought, obviously, I see him a couple of times a year, but they have 4 linebackers at times because you've got Chandler Jones there and you've got Isaiah Simmons, Jordan Hicks and stuff. So they might, like John said, they might do a bit of different in thingy, but I know normally they have 3-4 with obviously different stuff.
What was their biggest need? Did they have a need at linebacker?
I thought it was corner, to be honest with you.
Corner, going in.
Because they've lost...
maybe did they reach a Caleb Farley there or not?
Peterson went. I know they got Malcolm Butler in, didn't they? But I thought they were a need there.
I guess with the fear about Farley and injuries, I guess that's what's held them off going corner there, because I don't think there's anyone else... Is there anyone else you'd stretch out for in cornerback in round 1 at that point?
Greg Newsome good, but he probably were a bit higher than you'd probably like for him.
Yeah.
But
he was at Saints he dropped to in the end, wasn't it?
I think so. It was much later in the draft, was it?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's Browns. Browns got Newsome.
Oh, was it Browns, was it? Turner had said that, that Zaven Collins was going to the Cardinals. He'd heard that they were enamoured with him. So... They clearly wasn't I suppose if one of the corners was there at that point, maybe not. But the fact that they've been coming out saying they were going there,
he's definitely not going to be an every down backer for them. He's not going to be on the field every single play. He's going to be a rotational piece, but he could be really good in that rotational piece job where he comes in for pass pressure plays, where he is the he's the blitzing linebacker, he's your outside linebacker, or he is the middle linebacker on a blitz play potentially. Like, I think that rotational piece will suit that player, and if that's what they felt they needed, like you say, positionless players they like, he could be on the edge instead. Like,
yeah. I know this is a draft recap, but I'm interested in the Cardinals because I know last year a lot of people were pointing them out to maybe have a season beyond their means, and they've made some good moves. Obviously, they brought Hopkins in, etc. What do they need to get to that next level? Because obviously they've got Murray, who's a great QB. It's like, where do they go? Because they probably underperformed in the end last season.
I want to say a new head coach, but that might be a little bit hard.
They started off really well, didn't they, last year? They just tailed off. It doesn't help with the division they're in. Such a tough division, isn't it? With Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers. And 49ers weren't at their best last year, and they, I think, still managed to finish. How many wins were behind them, John? One, two, bad.
I can't remember. It wasn't much though.
Yeah, exactly.
Towards the end of the season as well, which basically eliminated them from playoff contention, I think.
Yeah,
they're a bit between two stools. I think the Cardinals. They're quite a good young team in some areas, and then on the other hand, you've got guys like Peterson leaving that have been there a long time, been cornerstones, and they need guys to step up and take over. Fitzgerald also, is probably, well, I don't know if he's actually announced if he's coming back or not yet, but he's been there as long as I've been watching football, and he's a top player. So they're in an interesting spot. I think they're a good team. I'm not a fan of Kingsbury. That goes back to like college coaching as well. But I think that the talent they've got is pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see how they go.
it is a talented team. It is weird. I think it is weird that they don't seem to click as well as they should, because it is a talented team. It's a stacked team, but it'll be definitely interesting to see after this, like where we go for them. But
yeah,
I think John has a point though. I think at this point, if they can't get it together in the next year or two with Kyler, I think they will look for a new head coach, because you don't want to waste that guy's whole career. Like you said, he is a good quarterback. Yeah. I'd like to see.
So my favourite pick of the draft, for reasons which will become apparent. So for those of you who watch regularly, you'll know we always have one Raider on, which is Matt. But we've got a college expert in Mart, who's a big Raiders fan, and he really well. I say he really wanted someone. He really didn't want someone, and luckily for us, he filmed his reaction to the live pick. So it may be a stretch video, but we're going to share this with you, and it's probably all we need to say about pick 17.
Me boys, I'm doing this fucking live so you can see me facial expressions. Watch it be Leatherwood, Eichenberg, big fucking college program. I haven't looked at Twitter. I've avoided Twitter fucking all night because people just fucking spoil it. Here we go. Fucking live reaction. Damon Arnett, you fucking pisshead. Can't fucking believe we still got that cunt. Just looking at his face pisses us off. Here we go. That's an awful fucking 5 picks there, isn't it? Fucking all that capital. At least Ruggs has got a ceiling. But Jacobs is good, but fucking running backs in the first round. There we go. Live pick. You want to fucking hurry up. Chuck Daniel Jeremiah. Just give us a pick. Who's it gonna be? Just not Leatherwood. Just not fucking Leatherwood. Not Liam Eichenberg. Please, dear God, do not do what you do and overdraft big fucking program players who have played in the college playoffs. Darasol's there. Just go get Darasol. Just go get fucking Darasol. Come on. Just go get fucking Darasol. Just go get Darasol. Right, here it comes.
With the 17th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select
I think this Jets video makes it even funnier.
Oh, good. It's so good. I think we need to pull the F count up to about 20. But, oh my God.
Darisaw count up to about 7 as well.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear who he wanted. That needs "Hello Darkness, My Old Friend" playing at the end. I think that was
Honestly, one of the best
real
videos.
moment.
So good. That's probably my moment of the draft. And then the preceding voice notes we got afterwards.
It's his reaction to seeing Cleveland Phelan on the TV that gets me.
I mean, David Arnett, you pisshead.
Oh, it's David Arnett.
It's so good. It is one of the best videos of all time. That I think that will be a pod favourite, just like Phil's video, which won't mention.
Could it win an award for a moment of the year? Who knows?
Could it win an award?
Yes.
Oh,
Got to, hasn't it? I can't see anything beating that, to be honest. You know what? Honestly, I have some sympathy because if we took Matt Jones at 3, I would have been making the video and you would have played that when we did our pick. So, as much as I did enjoy it, it's not nice to laugh at other people's pain. And again, it is the Raiders. What can you say about that pick, though? It's pure Mike Mayock. I know there was an attempt, certainly in the chat, to pin it on Gruden, but Mayock loves his big-time college program players. He loves those guys that have been in, the Alabama, the Clemsons. You only have to look at like the Ferrells, those type of players that he's took in the last few years. I don't like it, and I think it was a massive overdraft at 17. But he's a solid player, but solid about it is about the best I can say. I don't know what the view is from people that have watched it more than me. I know Jordan will listen more of him than I have.
No, I think Tom hit the nail on the head where you just have to listen to Mark's video. The fact that Darisaw's still there, it's I mean, I just don't understand why they're in. Alex Leatherwood's a decent player, and if that's your player, fair enough. But surely Darisaw is the pick, surely. As a genuine left tackle, he's an unbelievable player. I know, like Bones has said before, he's a bit grabby, but I think sometimes it looks like he can't be bothered. Like playing. I don't think he's getting beat too often. I think sometimes he's a bit half-assed, and I think if he got into the NFL, I think they'd knock that out of him potentially. But yeah, Leatherwood is good in the run. Opening up lanes, fantastic for Josh Jacobs. But yeah. Maybe not that high.
The one thing I'll say in mitigation of Leatherwood, and it's kind of a strange comparison, but I'll run with it. A few years ago, I think they lost a coin flip with us, and we drafted Mike McGlinchey, and they drafted Colton Miller. And after season 1, they looked like complete idiots because McGlinchey was superb as a rookie, and Miller was terrible. Miller is now the better player. McGlinchey's gone backwards, but Colton Miller has developed quite well. That was a pick no one saw at that point in the round when they took him. So is this going to be another one of those? It could be. It could be. I tend to agree with what you've put on the screen there, though. 41 games in Bama, his ceiling's probably tapped out. I think we've seen what he is. Now, what he is still probably a borderline first-round talent, but maybe that's all he is, and maybe that's the issue. But I don't know. A bit like Jordan said, if he's your player, you go get him, don't you?
The difficulty is, I think, for the Raiders is the fact, Mark nails it, that Darisaw was there. I think if Darisaw wasn't there, would you be massively bothered that you took Leatherwood over Jenkins? Probably not. So that's the biggest thing, is you've missed out on Darisaw. But I know I was speaking to Matt, and it seems that quite a lot of the Raiders' opinions is, if you look at the 2 players they took in the first and second, then they're happy. Don't look at the numbers they took, though. But they believe they've got a first-round player and probably got 2 first-round potential players. Maybe not the best, but they've done all right out of the 2 drafts. So I suppose you just, as a Raiders fan, you've just got to try and look at it that way, haven't you, really? Is you've got 2 solid players. Leatherwood is a solid player, and, Mart's put it there, top 20 players you'd expect Pro Bowl. But Leatherwood's solid, probably not going to get Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's any stretch to say that this was the biggest reach of round 1. Like, he's a good player, but it's still the biggest reach of the round, without a shadow of a doubt. There's nothing more to say. Everyone's hit every point about this guy, I think, that can be hit, other than, that's all I have to say here.
Yeah. Can we just see that video again? It's just the best video of all time.
I'm not sure if it'll last on YouTube if he plays it again.
I just want to see him get Darasaur.
We boys, I'm doing this fucking live so you can see me facial expressions. Watch it be Leatherwood, Eichenberg. Big fucking college programme. I haven't looked at Twitter. I've avoided Twitter fucking all night because people just fucking spoil it. Here we go. Fucking live reaction. Live reaction. Damon Arnett, you fucking pisshead. Can't fucking believe we still got that cunt. Just looking at his face pisses us off. Here we go. That's an awful fucking 5 picks there, isn't it? Fucking all that capital. At least Ruggs has got a ceiling. But Jacobs is good, like, but fucking running backs in the first round. There we go. Live pick. You want to fucking hurry up? Chuck Daniel Jeremiah. Just give us a pick. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Just not Leatherwood. Just not fucking Leatherwood. Not Liam Eichenberg. Please, dear God, do not do what you do and overdraft big fucking program players who have played in the college playoffs. Darasaur's there. Just go get Darasaur. Just go get fucking Darasaur. Come on. Just go get fucking Darasaur. Just go get Darasaur. Just go get Darasaur. Just go get Darasaur. Just go get Darasaur. Right, here it comes.
With the 17th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select
I know what it is now. It's the last just go get Darasaur. It sounds
The
like he's
high-pitched
telling
one.
a child.
It's when the selection comes out, it's like he's turning into a man with Tourette's. You know?
I think he was going for the Iron Sheik bit myself.
It is so good. Damon Arnett, you fucking pisshead.
yeah, that's what Tourette's like, because that just comes out of nowhere, because we can't see when he's looking at, so I don't know that Arnett's on the screen.
It proper kills me. It's so funny. We can't share the voice notes because it's even worse than that video language-wise. The voice note that followed that video, I was texting Phil on the side because we obviously had a separate conversation about like, the Eagles and stuff, and we were crying about our voice note. It was just so fucking funny. Just kept replaying it over and over again. Clearly, my highlight of the draft. That so good. So then it was Miami's second pick next, wasn't it? They went with Jalen Phillips. So I think the consensus out there that he was number one edge, but concerns over his injuries. What's thoughts? Without his injuries, is he an elite pass rusher? Is he top 10 pick without injuries? Or
I don't know if it's top 10, but I don't think he's elite. But he's very good. He's probably the best edge in the class, in my opinion. Obviously, there's a couple behind him, that are close by. But I still don't know if he's elite myself.
There's no Chase Young in this draft, is there? There's no
Boasters, is there? And stuff.
No, there's no Boasters, there's no Watts, there's no one like that. But in this draft, he's definitely, I'd say he's the best. Yeah, it's just that you had to be medically retired. Like that I understand why Dolphins fans are a little concerned. Like, who wouldn't be? He's a good player, but anyone who has to be medically retired.
Have medicals though, like heavily, especially with the fact that you quit the game for a year. Surely they've been, he's been tested.
It was a bit more difficult this year though, because there was no real in-person meeting, no combine, those type of things. Wasn't done. I know a pick coming up. I think it's our old friend that the Colts drafted. There was some doubt about a heart condition he had, and I think the Colts only cleared him about an hour before the draft. So you're taking a bit of a flyer, but I think I like because I seem to remember Phillips was drafted pretty high in both the mocks that we did. And one of the things we all said on there, I think, to a man was, if you think you can get the rookie contract out of him and maybe a little more, you're probably willing to take the risk in this spot. You're getting a 10 sack a year guy-ish for 4 or 5 years. You'll take that. You know, I like this pick. Again, there's a lot of upset Dolphins fans, and I don't really understand why when I look at it. It might, don't get me wrong, this pick has the potential to go wrong if he does get a head injury or something like that. But I think if I'm Miami, I'm happy with that pick. And Flores will use him sensibly. He's not an idiot. You know, he's good.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. He knows defense. He'll find a way to get the best out of him, I think.
A lot of the Finns fans wanted a running back there, though, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a bit weird, really. I don't know if I would have been. Well, I know they wanted Najee Harris. That was a name I kept seeing, but I don't know if I would have been happy with that at 18. You know, I think it's an impact player on a defense for a defensive coach, so I got no issue with that, really.
Yeah, good. So the next pick, Washington. So Jamin Davis. Where's he in the linebacker class? What's our thoughts there? Was he third linebacker? That's where he was taken. Was it a reach? Is it a need of theirs?
This is where I started to get surprised that Jeremiah Ramoso Kuamoa, or however you pronounce it, was even still on the board. Like, even, I guess the Cardinals could make the argument that he should have been gone there. Really, like, it is a surprise he's still not gone. Davis shot up everyone's boards just the last couple of weeks before the draft, especially. Like, that was he was a big mover in the last few weeks. So I don't know if maybe the in-person interviews, he interviewed particularly well, or but I'm not surprised he went in the first in the end, because that's where people started saying he was going to end up. I'm just surprised he went before JOK.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know what Bowen says. I'm surprised he went. I've got nothing wrong with him. Again, I think he's a good player. Probably needs a bit more work in coverage. Work on, but he's definitely got the talent. He's really come on the last couple of years. But yeah, I think just like what Bowen said, I was just surprised that Karamoa was still there, and they went for Jamin Davis. But it's a good need for Washington. You know, the offensive line, is decent. You know, obviously needs some help with linebacker, especially rushing. He's a good rusher. You know, so that'll help him big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like another match of coach and player as well. Ron Rivera, obviously, I think he was a linebacker himself, but also a defensive coach. You know, he's developed some guys like Thomas Davis and people like that. I think it makes sense. Like Bones, I'm like Jordan. I was a bit surprised he went here. In fact, I was a lot surprised he went here. So I had to scramble to figure out which. I thought, because at this point it was maybe like 3:30 in the morning, so I was trying to figure out. But I know the name. I couldn't quite put a player to the name. But yeah, all right pick. Perhaps a little early, but nobody will care if he's a solid player for if he's a solid player for a long time in Washington. There's a good chance he will be, as long as Rivera's there.
Yeah. So then back-to-back NFC East picks. This is where the Giants stepped up after their trade.
How do you feel about it? Like, this is your pick, so I guess we interview you a little bit here. Like, what's I personally, I would say you got your first next year on top of the other first, and one of the best slot receivers, if not the best slot receiver in the class. Like, that would be what I'd say.
I can't complain about the trade, and I'm not complaining about Tony. I just don't see it as a need. Like, we've got Shep. Like, I think the indications there that they're probably going to move on from Shep at the end of the season. The fact that they've drafted him, but then I do like what Trader Dave and Joe Judge have come out and started saying behind it, is you asked for weapons over and over again for DJ. Well, look what we've given you this offseason. You've got Golladay, you've got Rudolph, you've now got Tony, you've got John Ross. We've given him weapons. I think the biggest thing for the Giants fans is I've said it all along on the pod all offseason and even during the season, is our O-line. And I just find it odd we haven't touched it. But then Trader Dave's come out and just said, it's clear that we believe in our O-line more than you guys. So it looks like we're not going to make any improvements there, and we're going to go with it. And I get it. You've got Nick Gates, who played centre. That was, as much as he was a second year, that was his first year at centre. I think he did really well anyway. You've got Lemieux going into his second year, Andrew Thomas going into his second year, Matt Pert going into their second year, Will Hernandez, bit of a letdown. But I do like the look of Tony from what I'm seeing. I think Urban Meyer come out, didn't he? And he said that his heart was broken that the Giants took him there because that was his pick at theirs, which was 25, I think. And I know he mentioned that what they want to do with Etienne with his Percy Harvin role is he was saying that he saw Tony as the the Percy Harvin. So Mart's with what he's put there, it's clear as day. That is the biggest thing is with what the Giants have done this offseason, our offense has to get creative, but we've got Jason Garrett in charge. Yeah, that's the worry. That's the real worry. But then, there's a lot of factors, isn't there? I'm not massive on Jason Garrett. I think it's very clear on this pod what my thoughts are on the tosser. But you've got Saquon coming back. Hopefully he's fit. And then defenses can't just pick right, I'm just going to blitz you every single play because you've got no one coming out of the backfield. And you've got Goldman, who I like Goldman, but he's just a north to south runner all the time. So you've got different with Saquon. So hopefully that gives Garrett a bit of breathing room and he can mix up some plays. But yeah, you're not going to find me complaining. I think we did well out of it. I think we had a great draft. But yeah, I think we did really well at the trade back. I'm not bothered about Tony coming in. I didn't see it as a need, but I'll take it. I will take it. I'm interested to see because of looking at his tape and his highlights, he just looked like they call him the human. Is it human controller or something? Human gadget? Is it human joystick? That's it. Yeah. Some of the stuff I've seen is just ridiculous. But then again, I just don't know what division do the Gators play in. Do they play against any
ACC? They play in the ACC.
So is that a good quality division? Because some of the tackles he was breaking through, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's just stupid. He should be brought down. So I don't want his tape to flatter him, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm same as Mark. I probably would have gone Elijah Moore if you're looking for a slot. But it's like I was saying before we came on, to the guys, if that's your guy, if that's the guy you love, then you go draft him. Like, it's a bit high in my opinion, but I'll never I'll say that I would have someone in front of someone, but I'll never slate someone until I see him for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
that's your guy. Let's go see him play and let's see what he can do for you, and then we'll talk about it after 3 years if he's a bad pick. That's how I look at it anyway in a draft.
Yeah, when I've listened to everyone and all the pundits, and I've not heard one person say it was a bad pick. And I think Baldy's done some tape on him, and he was saying he was easily the 4th wide receiver. You look at Urban Meyer saying he wanted him. You hear good things, which is always great. In that you sit there and you go, right, okay, must be an alright pick. Like I said, I wasn't overly fussed. I was laughing in the group like, fucking hell, of course the Giants. What a surprise! Because I just don't see it as a need. I saw O-line as our biggest need, massive. But then you didn't have Darasaur or Leatherwood there. But yeah, we didn't. There weren't the bigger names there at 20. So would we have gone for Tevin Jenkins? Well, clearly we're not. Tony must have been the guy. I know they were after Devontae Smith. He was clear as day we were taking him at 11, which is why the Eagles jumped up. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't complain. I'm fine with it. The biggest thing was getting the extra drafts next year, and also we did well this year because obviously we only had 6 picks, so we got an extra pick this year, which we used to trade up in the 3rd and pick up Allen Robinson. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
I think for me, I probably had him early 2nd, but it's not that big a leap from. I'm kind of with Jordan on this. It's not that big of a leap from where you took him to where I thought he would go. He's the classic back end of round 1, start of round 2 sort of player. There were probably, like Mark says, there might have been better options for that position, but I don't know. I didn't. This is one of those, and we talked about it a little in the group as well with regards to Leatherwood. Sometimes when you look at it the day after, you're a bit less, rather than the instant reaction where you're like, oh, why did they do that? Which was kind of how I reacted to the Giants pick. When I thought about it afterwards, I thought actually he's a borderline 1st round guy. I think it was all right. But at the end of the day, whoever's at the Giants, it's going to depend on Daniel Jones. So, that's the other side to it that people don't talk about sometimes with these receivers. Yeah, they got to get on the field, they got to get separation, all those things, but they also need a QB who's going to find him consistently. You know, you
Yeah.
talked about that with Jerry Jeudy last week with Drew Lock. You know, we know how good Jerry Jeudy is, but he ain't going to look it while he's got Drew Lock under centre. Similarly, at the Giants, unless Jones takes a step forward, some of these guys probably ain't going to look that good. But I think he can do. But Jason Garrett, as you said, is the concern.
The thing is with DJ, he gets a lot of stick because of his turnovers, and I'll never defend him on that. He's an accurate QB. He's a very accurate QB. He's up there on the plus 20 yards. He was top 3. You know, he's a good QB, but he needs the tools, and that's what they've said. Is we've been asking over and over again all last season. You need to give him the tools. To be fair, a lot of us were talking about get us a big body receiver, which we got in Golladay, and then the rest we want the O-line. They've not done that. They've gone, we'll give you Golladay. We'll also get you a tight end that can catch, and go for Rudolph. And now we're going to give Gadget Man as well. But probably, I think the consensus is 20 for a Gadget Man's probably a reach. Will he start next year? Would I start him over Shet? Probably not. So while we might see him more as a punt returner, and then when you look at that and you're going, well, you've drafted a fucking punt returner for first round. Probably not the best, is it? Again, if you go, like I said about the Raiders, if you look at our first and second, and you take away who was picked when, and you take away the numbers who were picked, am I happy with Tony and Aziz Ujulari, however it's pronounced, across the two? Yeah, fine with it. Right, who was next was our friend Custard Pie. It was, wasn't it? It was the Colts, wasn't it? Yeah, Quitty Pay.
Pay.
I think you mentioned JP that he got cleared for a heart condition or something.
Yeah. Apparently there was a few teams that kind of on the edge of maybe drafting him because there was some talk of him having a heart condition, but the Colts cleared him kind of before the draft and were happy to take him. I like the pick, classic ballad pick, you know, build from the trenches and the edges out. I think they would have liked to tackle, but ultimately they obviously didn't see Darasaur as the answer. Maybe edge has got more value to them as well. They certainly don't have much out there at the moment. I think it was a solid pick. The Colts are a good drafting team. It won't be long before they're a consistent contender. It might even be this year. It depends on Carson Wentz, of course, which is a horrible sentence to say out loud. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's I think there's potential there, and I like this pick. I think he'll make an impact this year.
Yeah. Chris Justin Houston and signed back as he yet, so it's he'll slot in there nicely. You know, good scheme fit. I like it.
Good.
The
strong
NFL
team,
is making a big thing out of his story as well. He's got a lovely story that
he has,
the NFL is going to run into the ground as hard as they can, like, because they do love to do that with an actual good story. But yeah, like,
it also helps them with how terrible they've been for black people. Let's not beat around the bush. You know, they got it wrong. They've admitted they got it wrong, and they're now going to milk any opportunity they can to try and make it right. I loved his interview. It was him that basically told his mum that she doesn't have to work again, doesn't she?
You're not working anymore. You've retired.
Yeah, that was class. I love stuff like that. I think that's brilliant. I'm really disappointed in the Giants this year because there's been nothing. I really like when you can hear both sides of the phone call. You know, the draft phone call. They'll show you the player and you'll hear them, but you'll also hear what the coach is saying. They haven't done that. They've shown like Tony getting the phone call, but not what Joe George or Trader Dave. To be fair, you need a translator for Trader Dave, don't you? Are you a smart player? But yeah, it's like other than that. But I'm a bit disappointed in that because I like the social media side of things and I like to see sort of what goes on behind. But yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think it was a good pick. I thought he'd go number one edge. So then we've got Titans next, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it Farley they went, didn't they?
Caleb Farley.
Yeah, so this was the one people were obviously concerned about with was it his back injury, was it a disc injury or something? He dropped further than what with that. Is it a big need for the Titans? I suppose they didn't renew Adoree Jackson, did they? And did Butler come from the Titans or did he come from the Patriots? Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler, was he not Patriots?
I think he was Patriots, yeah.
Titans are an interesting team. They've a few needs. I would say corner was one.
No, it was the Titans. Sorry.
That's it. They've got rid of 2 this year, haven't
He
they?
was the
So
Patriots before that. He was Patriots, Titans, then now Cardinals.
I'm normally a big fan of teams taking a little bit of a risk at the back end of round 1, because if you're at the back end of round 1, you're generally a contender. But I think the Titans have a few holes opened up. This might have been a bit of a risk. On the other hand, get rookie contracts out of Philly, you're probably going to be all right. You know, it's a
really good corner.
What's that? Sorry.
He's a good corner.
He probably would have been number 1 corner if it wasn't for the injury. You know, the injury status really, and there was some suggestion that was a little bit overblown. So you know, that's a classic wait and see. If he gets on the field and he plays at the level that people think he can, yeah, they've stolen him here, but it's just one of those sort of.
I think the worry with his injury the most is it's a back injury, and the way he plays, he jumps out and he lays him. He puts his body on the line a lot, doesn't he? Like he throws himself around the pitch when he's healthy. Like it's not a good combination with the back injury. Is that style of much more physical play?
Yeah.
This is the pick we were talking about. Sorry, George, go on.
No. I was going to say that's what it comes down to. If it ends up going through, getting 5-6 years and more out of him, it's a fantastic risky pick, in it. Or if he only gets 1 or 2 years, it's going to come back to bite him. But is it worth the pick? Is it worth the risk with the Titans roster? You know, like John said, there's a few holes in it, so we'll see.
And of course, with the risky picks, they lost Isaiah Wilson after a year. That pick completely flamed out. So there's a little bit of pressure on this pick, really, in terms of refilling your roster with the capital that you've got. They need this to work, really.
This is the pick we were talking about, where we were saying if you can get the 4 or 5 years on his rookie deal of a top class player, then you take the risk. So, well, like you say, only time will tell, doesn't it? So then finally, at 23, Darisaw finally gets picked, which was a very weird drop, wasn't it?
Fantastic for Vikings, though. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable. Because they probably would have taken him at 14, wouldn't they? Was it 14 they were at? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's some that might have took him earlier than that. I'd seen him mocked all over the shop, but not below probably 15, 16. To trade down and still get who was probably a guy, that's worked out really well. I think they had a great first round, along with the Lions, probably one of the favorite picks in the round. It's funny, isn't it? Both North teams, and both got good linemen where they probably shouldn't have got them. So
for the Vikings, it's similar for us as it is for us as well. They've got Dalvin Cook in the backfield. You shore up that offensive line, and Cook's production goes up. He was already a ridiculous. He's arguably one of the best in the league. With what he's got now, you give him more of an offensive line to run behind, and I think it's great it is great for the Vikings, like Jordan said.
Yeah. What did they got? Was it 2/3 they got for the trade back as well?
I can't remember.
They got a decent amount because they dropped quite a way, really, from 14.
Yeah, I'm sure it was 2/3. Which, and then to get your man as well, they probably got. I know at the end of day one they were my winners purely based on the fact that they got the man they would have took at 14 and the extra picks. You're just laughing there, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then 24 Pittsburgh. I think it was called, wasn't it, the week before? Everyone sort of said it was either going to be a centre or if it's not, it's going to be Najee Harris. And they took him. You know, he was number 1 running back. So decent pick.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark's always saying about running backs in the first round, isn't he? But it's
he broke all of Derrick Henry's records. I mean, something like that deserves to be first round. I'm a massive running back fan. I mean, I've got a Doug Martin jersey over here just to prove it as well. But like I said, he's broke every Derrick Henry record. He deserves to be a first round pick. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
I think it's I kind of agree with Mark with running backs in the first round. But looking at Steelers, if Najee Harris is the guy that you love, he's not going to be around much longer. You'd think anyway. So you've got to take him if you want him.
Yeah, he's not going to be there in your second, is he?
No, not for the Steelers. And they say he is exactly what the Steelers would want big. He's a big back. Like he is a big back. Like, and that's what the Steelers like, isn't it? They like someone big and will run through a man. Like,
yeah, they moved on from O'Connor. They moved on from Connor, didn't they, as well? So it was a clear need.
Yeah.
So yeah, good pick. And then back-to-back running backs because it was Etienne next, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We touched on this a bit earlier, I guess.
Yeah.
I think at the time I was surprised, but when obviously the draft went on over the few days, they addressed the areas that I thought they were going to address with this pick. So it didn't look that bad in the long run. But like obviously at the time I was like a bit intrigued by it, the trade up as well, especially.
Yeah.
The trade up, sorry, the trade thing. Sorry.
Yeah, because what they were really struggling at DB, weren't they? Jax. Who was it they took in the second? Was it Tyson Campbell they took one in the second?
Yes, at the top of the second.
Yeah, so like you say, I suppose it sorts itself out eventually, doesn't it? And then, this is it. Browns 26, Greg Newsome the second. Good pick. Or is it their biggest need? Or
Yeah, I was a big fan of his. We had him mocked around here. I think most of us had him going to the Saints. So he's actually gone slightly earlier. But I did think about putting him in for Cleveland. There's a lot of like unproven guys there at DB for Cleveland. I suppose they've added one more really, but added a first-round talent is never a bad idea. I really like what the Browns did. I think Jordan said that. I really like what the Browns did overall, but this was a good start. Surprisingly for the Browns, a sensible pick. I think that was the most pleasing part.
Ooh.
Times are changing, aren't they?
Ask your question, man, in the chat. Do it.
Yeah.
Ask your question, man, in the chat.
To be,
or man or woman or
dog. Or dog.
Yeah, true.
Come on, doggo.
Just cover all my bases.
Won't throw you ball. Whilst we're waiting for that, here we go. I'd love to know who that is. Oh, Jesus Christ. Maybe that dog really likes the smell of diapers.
Probably.
Do you like the smell of diapers? I mean, I've had a child, so I know what they're like. Love it. Best smell in the world.
Oh, God. Oh,
shit, it's got weird.
Moving on.
Swiftly moving on.
You really like the pick, don't you, Jordan?
You want that?
Bateman to Ravens.
Bateman, yeah. I think it helps Ravens that they had two, obviously with the trade with Kansas City, they gave them two options at back of round one.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the luxury, but they could be open to where they went. And Rashad Bateman is obviously a wide receiver, a need to help Lamar. And he does a lot of stuff well, especially in the red zone. He gets off, like his route running is really good, especially in the red zone. So in tight areas, he just seems to be able to get like a couple of yards easily.
Yeah.
So I like him. A few dropped issues, but something he can work on.
He's a good outside receiver as well, which Baltimore haven't had for Lamar really either. Like he's going to be good at like being deep and out on the edge of the field kind of plays and stuff like that, isn't he? Like Lamar hasn't had that, and it could be part of the reason that the Baltimore Ravens have been a sort of nearly their team that need just that little bit extra to tip them over.
Yeah, you always need that threat on the outside, don't you? I think he's a real good candidate to be that. There's a bit of clean-up work to do, like George said. They've a bit of habit of dropping. It's a bit of a habit of dropping passes, and also we need to see how they scheme him into the offense because it's not, like you said, Bonds. It's not something they've been used to. But I think it was a good pick. Like you said as well, there's a potential for a bit of luxury there because they got 2 first-round picks. They've definitely picked first-round talent. It's just where he fits in there.
I think people were shocked at this point Elijah Moore was still there as well, like especially with, like Mark said before, he would have had him over Tony. So like for Tony and then, Bateman to go as well ahead of Moore, I think people were a bit shocked by that. But I think Bateman offers a very different skill set to, like, the Ravens don't need what. There you go. Yeah, I don't think that the Ravens need necessarily what Moore offers. They needed more what Bateman offers them. Mark said something in the chat. Bateman, best thing about Bateman is his release. He can beat press coverage, which that division's got a lot of press coverage, doesn't it? That's like quite a popular defensive strategy in that division. Like,
it's the thing about Lamar, isn't it? He's still got, there's still question marks over whether he's a passing QB or not. So you've got to give him the tools, haven't you? And if he's got that, I mean, you're always going to throw to Hollywood, aren't you? And 9 times out of 10, he's going to catch it. But then you need the other tools around there, because if he's under double coverage, then if Bateman can be your outside and it gives Lamar that chance to show off his arm, then maybe he can answer the questions and take them past sort of the early guys. Tough division, I mean, tough conference to do it in. But you've got to throw stuff at it. So the next pick, this is where I fell asleep now after Bateman. Was this a reach? This defensive end?
I went. I didn't watch a lot of him. I remember him being okay, but I went back and watched some after they drafted him, and it's for me. I think it's quite a good pick just because he played in so many. He can play with his hand. Play with his hand in the ground. He can rush from standing. He plays loads of techniques as well. You know, if you go watch him, he plays across the board quite a lot. And I'm guessing maybe that's why they what they liked in him. I know they lost. I can't remember his name. They've lost the guy who got the most sacks for. Obviously, they've got Cam Jordan. The guy now, Hendrickson, is it?
Yeah, Hendrickson.
Yeah, they've lost
Cam
him.
Jordan's not really.
But yeah, I must admit, I wasn't shocked. I was just like, and I'm not sure. And then I went back and I kind of saw maybe what on him with what he could do across the board.
Yeah,
where it lined up as an edge rusher.
It looks quite raw to me from the bits I've seen in terms of like he's not playing against a particularly high level of competition, but Saints like these sort of guys. They like that versatility on defense, especially on the D line and the edge. I was a bit shocked. But there was talk of him sneaking into the back end of the first round, so it's probably a reach. I don't think I would have took him here, but I could see why. I could see the reason for it.
You think the fact that the corners that had gone at that point probably had a part to play in that decision?
That, and I don't think Marcus Davenport has really proven himself to be that guy on the edge for them. Like, I don't think Marcus Davenport has done anything to really secure being the guy. They're still. This could be the guy. Like, but at this point in the draft, as far as they're concerned, I think they're still looking for an edge, a proper player to have there.
So,
and it's a popular defensive strategy at the moment as well, isn't it? Pressuring the quarterback, so defensive edges, defensive tackles, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Next pick then, Green Bay, another tool for Aaron Rodgers. Oh wait, Eric Stokes, cornerback. Is this a need? What does that fit? Does that fit them, or do we understand the pick?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a need. Anybody who thinks it isn't should probably look up Kevin King. They had no coverage at all when it mattered last year. You know that this is the thing. There's always talk about getting weapons for Rodgers, but that defense has been awful for a while now. He had a pretty good bounce back year last year, and then went to shit in the playoffs. In terms of the player, I really liked Eric Stokes. I was kind of hoping he'd fall to us at the second, similar with Tyson Campbell. I think I said Tyson Campbell for the first round on last week's pod. Obviously, he didn't make it, but Eric Stokes did. I don't think there's a lot between them. Stokes has probably got more production. That might have been what put him over the top. But no, I quite like the pick. They're going to get shit on whatever they do, unless they draft 900 receivers every year. People are always going to claim that they're not supporting Rodgers, even though they've given him a Pro Bowl left tackle, a Pro Bowl wide receiver. You know, they were damned if they didn't, but I liked it. It was a smart football decision for me.
You know, I'm a Lions fan, but just the things that I've heard from people who are Green Bay fans, like, and stuff, would be that whilst the defense isn't great, it's not like they've neglected drafting defensive positions. They do draft a lot of defensive positions, and that defense still sucks. That's the problem that I think a lot of Green Bay fans have. Is it's like, you can say the defense sucks, but we've drafted it, and this was the worst pick in the draft. Yeah, I mean,
3-year starter. I mean, that's a reasonably fair comment. I like Samuel Jr. as well.
I was surprised Asante Samuel wasn't taken there, like by this point, to be honest. But I don't think he's a bad corner, but I think Green Bay have done it enough times now, and it's still not working. Like, I don't know.
Keep throwing shit at a wall, and something will stick eventually.
But then I'm happy for them to suck. They can carry on sucking.
Yeah.
Get Rodgers out of the division as well.
Oh yeah, they're really terrible.
Yeah. Play Jordan Love. Like, have him as your starting quarterback. Get rid of Rodgers. It'll be fine. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Then his Bills next, wasn't it? Gregory Rousseau. So one of the other edge classes. Is it a need? Do you think that's where they should have gone? We think it's the right pick?
I didn't really think they had any needs. I think they were in a nice position where they could take the best guy they wanted. Again, it's a bit like what Bones said a couple of picks ago. There's a strategy there to pressure the quarterback. Rousseau, I didn't actually know if he would make it in the first round because he tested quite badly. But I suppose back end of the first round, you probably take that risk. Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad pick. Don't know what you thought of him, Jordan.
No, I don't. I like you said, I think Mike said it a while back as well that he didn't test the best, but he's only just gone 21. He's what I think is I don't know about the rest of the edges, but he's definitely the youngest edge, in the first round. So there's probably a lot that they could do with him, But yeah, I think same as you. I don't know if Bill's had any needs, to be honest with you. So
yeah. Didn't he put something like £20 on, and people thought he was struggling with it, and that's why he dropped a bit on people's boards?
Yeah, I think I can't remember what weight he was, but I think he was the biggest. He weighed the most as well out of the edges in the first round as well. So yeah, it could have been.
And then it was back-to-back edge. So the Ravens took. He don't want to be called Jason Owe anymore, does he? Is it Odate or something like that? He basically said, "Now I'm in the NFL, you'll have to know my name. You'll have to learn it." Which again, another interview I like.
This is when he's back on the podcast. Is one of his guys.
Yeah, yeah, we love the names, but yeah, I think the Ravens done well there. 2 picks close together, and they got two starters for me.
Yeah, it's
straightforward.
It's these last 3 picks really are, I think, because it all is very much the whole rushing the passes popular right now. These teams were already pretty good teams, as proven by where they're picking in the draft. Add some more depth at a position that helps you win games right now. This is the place. The end of the first is the place to do that. I think you're not going to be picking till the end of the second, and a lot of these people won't be here at the end of the second. So it's now or never for these teams.
Yeah,
on these players.
And then the final pick, the irrelevant team, the Bucks. Jamie, happy? Joe Tryon, is it? How it's pronounced?
Tryon, yeah.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Joe Tryon, my birthday brother, right there. Obviously turned 22 on.
Picked on your birthday.
Yeah. We said it a few weeks ago. I mean, there's not much you could do to improve the team. Like I said, slightly biased, but we have a pretty perfect team. What I wanted was backup quarterback Kyle Trask. Didn't get him in the first, but we did get him in the second, didn't we? We fucking got him, boys. I don't care, that's 4 F words, but we got him. I mean, I wanted Kyle Trask. Everyone was saying, no, you don't need him. I was like, I want him. Don't care. Want him. 2 years behind Brady. Absolutely love it. Again, you were talking about earlier on saying put them behind the quarterback for 2 years and then bring them in. Why can't we do that with Kyle Trask? They did it with Rodgers. They did it with Brett Favre, obviously, and look how that turned out. So I'm excited for it. I'm happy we got Kyle Trask. I got what I wanted. It was a happy birthday for me, weren't it? So, but with Joe Tryon, like I said, he's a young edge. He's 22. I think the only thing we don't know a lot about him because he didn't play last year. He had no football last year because his season was suspended. So he's only really had his freshman and his sophomore year. So I don't know. Like I said, looking at all your mock drafts, I don't know if you can correct me if I'm here wrong, Bones, but didn't really see his name come up a lot.
He snuck up late, didn't he, in the boards?
Yeah. He was one of those. He was one of those the last couple of weeks. Just started hearing more and more about him. But I think for Tampa, like I say, it's that same strategy again, and it's the strategy that won them the Super Bowl. Like we all watched the Super Bowl. That Super Bowl was won by Tampa's defense. Like more depth at that position is not bad for Tampa. Like Jamie said, they brought everyone back again. They don't have
including Antonio Brown
Yeah.
over the last week as well.
including Antonio Brown. Like they don't have any desperate needs. They just won the Super Bowl with that exact lineup. So depth at a position that won them the game. Yeah.
I've got my Huskies hat on here, seeing as though that is my college team, seeing as though they're not far from Seattle. Like you said, he didn't play last year, but in 2019, I liked him. I probably had him early second round. I didn't. But like Bones said, there was talk of him coming in, sneaking into the first round. But yeah, I like him. Obviously, we're not seeing him in 2020. We don't know what we're going to get. But 2019, he were a beast. He were really good. He reminds me a bit of Pierre Paul that you've got at the moment. He really is a bully. Like when he's rushing, as a bull rusher, and he's in his first step, off the line and stuff to get round. He is really, really good. Well, in 2019, he was really good. We're just obviously this is the thing with people who've opted out of 2020. Hopefully they carry on improving. And there's no fall off from the 2020 season if there would have been any. But yeah, he's a good player, like you say. Just doing a good position, Bucks. Just pick what you want, don't you?
Yeah,
I think a lot of what shot those kind of players up the board as well, just while we're on it, is like the ones that didn't play last year. A lot of it did come down to like interviews and what they'd been doing with that year. Like, so the ones who, when they interviewed them, so what have you done with the year off? Were like, I've been in the gym every day. I've been training as hard as I would have been, even if I'd been playing, if not harder than if I would have been had I been playing. Like, those are the kind of guys that climbed up very quickly, I think, this year, because there is so little information on them. Like, you've got to base it on mentality, and if they've got that work more. Like, this is when they're unsupervised. Like, you got a lot of college players who have spent their whole life with coaches stood over their back saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. Like, these guys, while still at a college age, had a whole year off and worked their asses off to get to the NFL. Like, they're the players you want to draft. That mentality alone is a good mentality, even if you don't know enough about the play. I think that'll sell you on a guy.
Yeah, I like it. So obviously that's all 32 picks discussed. Another long episode, so thanks for those that stuck around. Before we go, our three panel experts, I want from you biggest winner on day one, best pick, and biggest reach. I think we all know who that's going to be. Consensus. So, JP, biggest winner day one.
Well, biggest winner. Probably the Vikings, I think, because of being able to trade down and still get their guy. You could also chuck in a Jaguars possibly, because ultimately they got the best player in the draft. But yeah, I think if we're going outside of that, probably the Vikes, I think.
Yeah, best pick.
I'm going to stick with what I said very early on. Feels like about 9 hours ago now. 2-0 to the Lions. I think that was a great pick. There's no way they would have expected him to be there at 7, and I think going to set him up for a decade or more. So yeah, I'll go with that. And
then biggest reach.
It can't really not be Leatherwood, can it? So we'll stick with Leatherwood.
Brilliant. No, JP. George, biggest winner, day one winner.
Yeah, same as John. I think just how it panned out with the trade back. I think Vikings had a good first round. Obviously, like you said, Jaguars knowing what you know on second round, but definitely Vikings.
Yeah, best pick.
Just to be different, like obviously I do like John, but I think Kyle Pitts for Falcons. It's just obviously with him not trading back. Best player available. I can't wait to watch him play. To be honest with you,
Yeah, really. Agreed. The biggest reach for you?
You don't have to be different. I was looking before John said it. Can I go something different, just to be different? And I can't. It's like Leatherwood.
Brilliant. And then Bones, day one winner, general consensus. Vikings.
I think. Yeah, if I was going to go and try and be different, like I'd say the next closest would maybe be the Giants getting an extra round 1 next year and still getting a good receiver this draft. Like I don't think that's a bad I'd go for them. Because this just on round one alone, this is like overall draft. I think it'd be slightly different, but best pick. I'm gonna be different again, and I hate to do this because of the team it is, but I think the Patriots got a really good pick at 15. Like,
fair call, yeah.
I think that's a good pick. As much as I don't like to give the Patriots any credit because it's the Patriots, like that is a good pick at 15. And then the reach,
biggest reach.
I mean, it's Leatherwood, isn't it? Like, What can I say that Mark hasn't already said for us?
So like I say, thanks again for coming on, guys. Thanks to everyone that stuck with us, and the real guys that have asked questions, not dogs. And you'll probably be seeing similar faces regularly for the off season. We want to discuss divisional breakdowns post draft. You know, how we think it compares, and obviously when the OTA start and stuff like that, we'll start diving a bit deeper and trying to fill everyone with the optimism that we're getting that will clearly get shattered when the Giants go 0-16. But yeah, we're going to try and bring content. 17, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Lions and the Browns, the only two teams in history to go 0-16 now, officially. No one can ever do it but us and the Browns.
But we'll try and bring you as much content as possible because I know it's hard. We've got a long 4 months now. And I think Mart said it in the group earlier. It's your 4 months of bullshit as well. When you're getting fed all sorts of crap, this player is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. So we'll try and give honest opinions and we'll go from there until the season starts, obviously, and then you'll get. It's probably been better this week without having Matt on and his grumpy ways, if we're honest. But we'll try and bring some good looks back next week.
Whoa. I've been sat on the waiting room for 2 hours, man.
No.
What, you were dead?
And the thanks I get is it's good that Matt's not been on. In Patriots best pick, Bones, I used to like you. And then you said Leatherwood was a reach. We're done, mate. We're done.
Welcome, Matt.
No, not welcome.
The streak's still alive. It's not broken.
Yeah, he's here.
Triple award-winning podcast host is here.
And it's probably perfect timing because Matt normally does our outro. So over to you, Matt.
Been waiting 2 hours for this. Yeah, I've watched bits of it. I've been busy, so I've not been able to make it on. Apologies, but I'm sure the guys have done a good job. Well, everyone but Tom, I imagine, has done a good job. Yeah, as usual, follow us as those that are watching can see at Third Short Pod. Those that are listening, why you're not watching, we're live. We're better than that. I hope you've enjoyed it. As Tom was saying, then you're going to see more of Jordan, Bones, and JP as well as Mark as well. We've got some exciting things coming up. I've enjoyed watching the bits. I've been really busy doing absolutely nothing but playing my bollocks. But it's been good to watch and not be involved because the last 2 weeks with the draft episodes we've done, I think me and Tom have taken more of a back seat, and I've enjoyed watching the three guys and Mark as well talk, and their passion really comes through. And I think I texted JP earlier and said. I think it works really well, so we're excited for what's going to come in the next few weeks, and I'll have to watch the whole episode back because I don't know what else was said about me.
Nothing, mate. Nothing.
Oh, nothing. I'm not like Porn, am I? Outrageous.
No, yeah, cheers, mate. So yeah, same time next week. I think. To be fair, we plan these episodes probably half an hour before they go live. So yeah, we'll see who we've got available. As Shanahan said, we don't know what could happen between now and then. Fortunately, Matt has risen from the dead, and he's managed to keep the streak alive, Mr. Undertaker. But yeah, we'll see you next week, guys.